former president's team had actually discussed what they wanted that mugshot to look like prior to him going to the Fulton County Jail and taking it. And the former president himself ultimately decided that he wanted to look, quote, defiant. That is something that his advisors have told me. And he chose purposefully not to smile.
CNN is on the case. He chose purposefully not to smile. I thought maybe it was an accident that he didn't smile. Wasn't purposeful. Hey, we got breaking news. Sources tell CNN that he chose purposefully not to smile. Well, happy Friday to you, and welcome back. We remain at 888-630-9625. I want to get into President Trump and yesterday's events, because the left is marching in America. Radicals everywhere, including Fani Willis, the prosecutor in Atlanta, Georgia, raised by her Black Panther father, now securing a position of authority to be abused, because that's what they do. They're the left. They abuse power. Speaking of which, there is another story today, the Daily Mail, and not the Washington Post or the New York Times, but Hunter Biden moves into $15,800 a month Malibu home with his wife, Melissa, and his son, Beau. They got a new one. As Secret Service hunkers down across the road. I wonder how much the Secret Service house costs. And it's all, of course, the Secret Service, taxpayer expense, the Malibu house. Good for the Secret Service guys that get this detail, I guess. But Hunter Biden moved into a 3-bed, 3-bath home, stunning panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean, perched on a hill in a gated community in Malibu, naturally. He's renting it for $15,800 a month. It's funny, I was talking to somebody last night about spending that kind of money on a rental. If you were at all prudent, I just think, whizzing that money away on a rental, you put a little down payment. If you're going to pay a $15,800 a month mortgage, might get a little something back at the end of the road. But, when it's not your money and you're a crackhead and you stripper, knocker-upper, Russian hooker, Dayton, he's an international business tycoon because he has no business. So I guess he's just an international tycoon. Isn't that amazing? All right, let's get to President Trump. Just the Biden family and the Hunter Biden update. Think the house comes with free crack? Because for that kind of money, it should certainly come with free crack.
It's not a crack house; it's a crack mansion.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a crack house; it's a crack mansion. See, it's not just he doesn't just live in a crack house; he lives in a crack mansion. Because don't you know who he is? He's Hunter Biden. International tycoon. All right, let's go to President Trump. Now, this was quite a series of events yesterday. I should also point out, because I've been talking about this, and I was talking about it in the last hour, the previous hour I was talking about it yesterday too. Fani Willis, radical extremist, leftist, raised by a racist, left-wing extremist, Black Panther Party member, and attorney, of course, her father. And now Fani Willis, named Fani because it's Swahili, because, you don't want anything to do with the United States of America or anything like that. And she's a radical, she's an extremist, she's a political activist, and she's got great political ambitions. She's had professional photographers in to do headshots of her. She's running, this is a campaign for her personal political future. All right? And she believes it's benefiting her, right? And it is, because the Democrat Party isn't democratic at all. They are not liberals. They are the left, and the left is coming for your rights, which reminds me, at the Chris Plant store today, you can get your Donald Trump mugshot T-shirt, your Donald Trump mugshot coffee mug. It's the mugshot mug, and it has on one side the Chris Plant Show logo, but on the other side the mugshot of President Trump with the words, "The left is coming for your rights." And boy, are they. I just spent some time in the last hour talking about the myriad ways or some of the myriad ways they are coming after your rights and your children. And what is it with the sexuality of children and the Democrat Party? And it's not heterosexual. It's all LGBTQ. It's all homosexual and children. That's your Democrat Party. And if you don't like it, well, they got a Biden judge for you here in the Washington Post in Maryland, a Joe Biden judge that will rule against your religious freedoms, because LGBTQ story time for children. Go look up gender queer graphic novel. But back to Fani Willis, the radical leftist spawn of Black Panther, racist, radical, separatist father. But pay no attention. The Intercept has the story, Georgia GOP gears up to remove Atlanta prosecutor who indicted Donald Trump. Good. That's what the Georgia GOP should be doing, just like the spawn of radical left-wing terrorists. Chesa Boudin, the San Francisco prosecutor, was removed in a recall election because he loves crime and criminals, and he gets more people murdered and more people bashed in the head and more people raped and more people robbed and mugged, because they're the left. They're not liberals. They're the left. But Georgia GOP gears up to remove Atlanta prosecutor who indicted Trump. Pretty amazing, and that is good stuff. Also, CBS fake news. Trump case / Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, : they love their colons. Fani Willis will lose her job. She should not only lose her job, she should lose her license to practice law, which happened to Mike Nifong, that prosecuted the Duke lacrosse team on false charges. And he was disbarred and kicked out of his job and served at least 1 day in jail. Not nearly enough. That said, now let's actually go to, I want to start out with this. President Trump's motorcade driving through a black neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia, not looking like a wealthy neighborhood, looking like a fairly low-income neighborhood. And as the motorcade came through, of course, it was all being covered like it was the OJ low-speed chase. There were helicopters. I heard there were drones overhead sending back live video signals. There was actually a live camera in the motorcade in one of the vehicles behind the president's armored Chevy Suburban. I believe there were 17 vehicles in the motorcade. I think that's what we counted at the airport at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport when the motorcade was leaving his private Boeing 757. There was an ambulance in it, which you see in presidential motorcades. And as it was going through this neighborhood, I guess people watching on TV could see, because they shut down the interstate highways there to move him from the airport to the bug-infested jail where last year 15 inmates died, because, including this man that died of bed bugs, because, among other things, the bug-infested hellhole that they run there. And with the homicide rate skyrocketing 60% under the leadership of the Democrats there. But President Trump's motorcade was coming through. The people in the neighborhood saw it coming like it was the O.J. Simpson low-speed chase of all those many years ago. And the people came out of their homes, and they're all African-American in this low-income neighborhood, and cheered President Trump's motorcade as it came through.
Y'all see it, man.
No sirens.
Which one are you in, though?
No flashing lights. His motorcade, and everybody came out of their homes to cheer him on. The Democrats are a lynch mob. And these people came out to cheer President Trump.
Everybody.
Not the people that CNN will tell you are Trump supporters. And it was quite remarkable. And it reminded us of Joe Biden the other day driving in Maui, Hawaii, on his way back to Air Force One. And the people there, they were all white or, Native Hawaiian, came out to, to receive Joe Biden very, very differently as his motorcade went by. We had to bleep most of it out. They were offering hand signals that involve a single digit as his motorcade went by.
Here he comes after 13 days. Wow, he's finally here. Wow, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for nothing. You.
A tale of two motorcades. Joe Biden in Hawaii, President Trump in Atlanta. Now, Hawaii, a very Democrat state. Atlanta, a very Democrat city. This neighborhood, presumably a very Democrat neighborhood. And the left is here, my friends. And, remember it was the Democrats that fired on Fort Sumter. Here is President Trump. He had left the jail where the mugshot was taken, and he had arrived back at his private Boeing 757 aircraft with the beautiful paint job and his name on the side, and just a gorgeous private plane, almost unbelievable. And he stopped to talk to the press under the wing before he got on the airplane after the mugshot. I saw it reported that they put him through the magnetometers, the metal detectors, the mags, going into the jail where 15 inmates died last year because Democrats. And here's President Trump yesterday under the wing before boarding his plane to go back to his one of his homes, this home in Bedminster, New Jersey, country club, golf course, all that good stuff. And the left resents every bit of what I just said. The Boeing 757, the private plane, the motorcade, the private golf clubs, the multiple homes. The left hates everything that works, and they destroy everything: the jail, the community, the legal system, your children. President Trump under the wing of his private Boeing 757.
Thank you very much for being here. I really believe this is a very sad day for America. This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you're going to have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have three other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all. And we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think it's very dishonest. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you very soon.
And that was his statement before boarding his Boeing 757 to head back to one of his private golf clubs. And boy, the left hates. And it was a good statement. He talked about Hillary Clinton denying the 2016 election, which she did. The Democrats challenged the 2000 election. They brought it all the way to the Supreme Court. They challenged the 2004 election because they lost those presidential elections. They didn't challenge when Obama won in 08 and 12. Then Hillary Clinton still says it was stolen in 2016. Stacey Abrams, Democrat Georgia, still goes around saying that she won the gubernatorial election, and all that's fine. Put them all in handcuffs, drag them away by their hair, throw them in flea-infested jail cells, make them all pay the price for doing what President Trump did, challenging the election. How dare you? The left, give them a thimble full of power and they'll abuse it before the sun goes down. Been saying that for decades. And I've got breaking news. President Biden's plan to introduce a digital dollar is already underway. It's a nefarious scheme. And it's vital to understand the potential consequences because no matter what they tell you, this is not in your best interest or mine. Time is of the essence. So taking action now is a great idea to protect your savings. You can help protect your savings and your future, your retirement from the risks of the digital dollar by diversifying with gold and silver IRAs. You get started by calling the experts at American Alternative Assets. We love American Alternative Assets. They're great friends of the show. Give them a call today at 888-4-GOLD-20. The number 4, GOLD-20. That's just a study. It's 888-446-5360. They'll give all the guidance you need on safeguarding your retirement savings. Say no to Joe Biden's digital dollar. Prepare for the future. Call 888-4-GOLD-20. That's 888-446-5360. Call them now. Individual results may vary. There is no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Seek your own legal, tax, investment, and financial advice before opening an account. And I've got the media on this. I've got more President Trump as well, because he went on Newsmax with my friend Greg Kelly last night. He called from his Boeing 757 on his way back to New Jersey. I've got that coming up for you as well. And then, of course, our news media people. And a great deal more about this Fani Willis. And I think we shouldn't rest until she's disbarred. Maybe in jail herself. What do you say? Hey, it's Chris Plant, excited to tell you about our July 2024 Listener Sea Cruise. We'll be sailing around the British Isles, visiting Scotland and Ireland. Please join us. Book by this July 31st for extra savings. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com. If you visit the Chris Plant Twitter page or the Facebook page or the Instagram page, you will see our Joe Biden mugshot from the Fulton County Jail. The flea and pest infected hellhole where people die at extraordinary rates because Democrats. So check that out. And you can share it with your friends. Share it with your Democrat friends and your family members. The Joe Biden mugshot, and it's got the Fulton County Jail badge behind it. And you can share it. Share it with your friends. It's good. Kevin just whipped that up. Let's go to the phones, Michael. Let's go to Adrian, calling from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yo, Adrian.
Hey, what's happening, Chris?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. You know, I'm getting a little impatient with the Republicans slow rolling all this so-called investigations, and I'd really like to see an impeachment inquiry beginning where they can do an impeachment inquiry of everyone's favorite Attorney General, Merrick Garland, and of course Joe Biden, because I think what will happen. Now, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a legal expert. However, I believe that if a inquiry would be started, there would be more information coming out. People would have to testify, but also
it's long overdue. I want to apologize to Adrian for not managing the clock well enough, because Adrian had more to say there. But I agree with what you were saying there, Adrian, that the Republicans are slow rolling once again in these congressional investigations that go on and on and on, and every now and then come out and offer a soundbite or something. Where's the impeachment inquiry? You haven't even started an inquiry. The Democrats would already have the green felt on the on the tables and the pitchers of water in the glasses, and they'd be having their show trials, and they'd drag them out all over the place. Of course, then their sycophant followers in the news media would be thrilled to carry them bumper to bumper over what, a phone call to Ukraine about the Biden family's corruption and Ukrainian corruption and Burisma, and getting the prosecutor fired and millions of dollars rolling into the Biden family coffers from Ukraine. For what purpose again? And the quid pro quo. If only we had a media, what would they be doing? Imagine if Joe Biden were getting the Donald Trump treatment. They'd be bumper to bumper all day long with the stories and the documents and the money, and they'd have graphics, they'd have their legal experts in and panels, and they'd all be shocked. But not now. Why is that? But Adrian, you're right. Start the impeachment inquiry. Start it into Merrick Garland. Start it into Joseph Robinette Biden. Subpoena Hunter Biden and bring him up and put him under oath. And I saw Kevin McCarthy, who, I've never been the hugest fan of Kevin McCarthy, given his inability to articulate. And the job title is Speaker, after all. You should be able to speak very well if your job title is Speaker of the House of Representatives. But I saw him the other day say, well, when we come back, we're going to start the process of, possibly an inquiry. And, how many years does everything have to take in this stinking, corrupt town? And the Republicans are just not nearly aggressive enough. I should be made Speaker of the House. It'd be a lot more fun, I'll tell you that much. And Adrian, you're 100% right. And Adrian used the term slow roll. And it does feel like we're getting the slow roll over here from the Republicans. This isn't the news media or the Democrats. It's the Republicans on Capitol Hill. Get something done, all right? I know it's Washington, but does everything have to take a decade around here? And then it turns out, to not be what they said it was going to be a decade later. Remember when Obama and Biden fixed health care? Remember that? Obamacare. Oh, thank God we fixed health care. Now everything's better. And every day there are stories about how we've got to fix health care. Because guess what? They didn't fix health care. And where are the Republicans? You give them the House of Representatives, you got the speakership, you control all the committees. There's been some good work done, James Comer. But for God's sake, honestly, the Democrats would be holding press conferences daily and pounding the table and pounding the podium and having events on the steps of the Capitol, singing songs and showing up with poster boards and have children crying and, the usual stuff that the Democrats do. But the Republicans can't put on an event to save their lives, can they? No, they can't. Why? It's a good question. I don't have a good answer to that. I'm telling you. All right, let's go back to some audio because where are we now? Let me check the clock. Because President Trump got on his Boeing 757 and headed back to his sprawling property in Bedminster in New Jersey with a golf course. And while he was on the airplane, he called in to Newsmax and spoke to my friend Greg Kelly. And Greg Kelly's a great guy. Called in and talked to Greg Kelly, calling in from Trump Force One from his private Boeing 757. Greg Kelly and President Trump last night.
What was it like? How did they treat you? What was the experience like today in jail?
Terrible experience. I came in, I was treated very nicely, but it is what it is. I took a mugshot, which I never heard the words mugshot. Didn't teach me that at the Wharton School of Finance.
He's never heard the words mugshot. They didn't teach him that at the Wharton School of Finance. Interesting. You know who else went to the Wharton School of Finance? Alyssa Heinerscheid, who had that great idea for Bud Light because they wanted to get rid of that. Well, she went to the Wharton School. She went to Harvard first, then to the Whartons. And then she got a big job at Bud Light and made $27 billion disappear. Forget David Copperfield. He's a magician. This woman made $27 billion disappear. Wow. Bernie Madoff only made $13 billion disappear. He died in prison. Alyssa Heinerscheid's going to get another executive job. She'll make more billions disappear, no doubt. So President Trump and Greg Kelly, it continued.
I mean, I have counts where you're going to love this, and Chris Ruddy will be thrilled. But one of the things is I told people Newsmax. Did you know that? That was one of my counts. I told people to watch Newsmax.
We love it, sir. We love it,
Mr. people to watch Newsmax.
Thank you for that.
Chris Ruddy is the big boss, the man in charge at Newsmax, and he's a very good guy too. I like Chris Ruddy. And President Trump said, and it's true. What on the chair? You told people to watch Newsmax. My show, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, is on Newsmax. Although my show was moved to 10 p.m. last night because President Trump agreed to call in at 9 p.m. and talk to Greg Kelly. And my show was moved to 10 p.m. last night, but it'll be on 9 p.m. again tonight. So President Trump calling from his Boeing 757 after being mugshotted and booked by a radical leftist named Fani Willis, who may end up, if there's any justice in this world, and I'm not sure there is anymore, being disbarred and certainly kicked out of office. And there are Republicans that are looking at that now. President Trump talking to Greg Kelly.
As far as the stage last night, I thought Vivek, as we say, did very well. They call it, actually his name is Vivek, like cake. But I thought he was very good. I especially like where I said I was the greatest president in his lifetime and long beyond. That's pretty good. I said, are you sure he's running against me?
Vivek, like cake. I always say that too, because that's the way it was explained to me. And I say bake a cake. So it's pronounced Vivek, like bake a cake. That was funny. President Trump is, casually, naturally a funny guy. He's from New York, as I understand it. And it was a good, fun call from the president. Then the president made it back to New Jersey and went to Bedminster. Golf course, giant place. Life should be great for Donald Trump. He didn't have to run for president. He did have to go into politics. But honestly, is there anybody else out there that is going to save the world from the crazy people? I don't know. I just don't know that there's. I've got some update on the polls after the presidential debate, the candidates debate. But I'll get to those. I'll get to those shortly. And Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly comes from a great father at Newsmax. His show is normally on right after mine at 10 p.m. I'm on at 9 p.m. He's on at 10 p.m. And Greg Kelly's father was the great New York City police chief Ray Kelly, and he's a good guy. Great hero of a police chief, New York City, from the days when they were, doing police work up there. Now the Democrats have killed police work. Greg Kelly is also now a retired lieutenant colonel in the United States Marine Corps and the Marine Corps Reserve, and a Harrier pilot, an Aviate Harrier VSTOL, vertical takeoff pilot, and a good guy. Good guy. I speak to him occasionally on the telephone and so on. Now, CNN is, CNN never joined the Marine Corps. They've got a woman named Caitlin Collins who poses as a reporter for purposes of cable television. And she was on last night talking about the president. The president posted his mugshot, and he posted it with a couple of comments, nothing too lengthy, but a couple of comments. Caitlin Collins on CNN, they were relishing this, of course, the corrupt news media, because they're front groups for the Democrat Party, which has been taken over by the international left. And now in America, we should look for this to be the norm for the left to try to jail their political adversaries. It's what the left does all over the world. Caitlin Collins.
He posted the mugshot, shortly after on his own social media account, along with the phrase, never surrender. I mean, a bit ironic given he had actually just surrendered at the Fulton County Jail behind me. But how do you expect him to try to use this to his political advantage as he's running for president?
Yeah, it's ironic since he had just surrendered. Well, it's not over yet, kitten. Because President Trump doesn't surrender. And she didn't actually say what he posted. He posted the photo. He also put it on X. And he posted election interference, then never surrender, then DonaldTrump.com. But if you're looking to CNN for your news, Caitlin Collins is not going to give it to you. She just took one that she thought she could use to jab at him, right? Oh, sure, never surrender, but didn't mention that he wrote election interference and that he posted his own mugshot and posted on multiple platforms because she doesn't want to send people there because she's a propagandist for the Democrat Party and not a journalist. And that's what they do at CNN. And that is why I had to leave all those years ago. Rachel Maddow, of course. What does she make? $280 million a week or something for doing one day a week? Is that her thing at MSDNC? Rachel Maddow, watching the motorcade yesterday because MSDNC was carrying it live and they had to bring Rachel in to do some commentary.
You are not seeing the streets, teeming with anything, or the country being turned inside out. This is a traffic anomaly in Atlanta, but this is not some sort of end of the world. And lots of other countries, lots of other advanced democracies that we think of as pure nations have gone through the process of prosecuting presidents and prime ministers and first ministers. And politics doesn't end, revolution doesn't happen, civil war doesn't break out, the streets don't run with blood. Life goes on.
Wait till Joe Biden's arrested and his motorcade's going in. You guys will burn the cities down from coast to coast because you guys are violent and you burn cities from coast to coast. St. George of fentanyl. You burn cities from coast to coast for months. Dozens died, thousands of police injured, billions in property damage. All of that literally true. And you guys, and name those civilized countries around the world where they arrest presidents and prime ministers. Name and first ministers? What? I mean, what are you, a communist or what? What the hell is a first minister? Prime ministers, and then you got your first ministers? Where, in North Korea? Yeah, in North Korea, they arrest their the enemies of the state and tie them to logs and use anti-aircraft guns to rip them limb from limb because that's what communists do. Tell me, Rachel, and there's nobody there to ask the question. Really? What countries in the civilized world do they arrest presidents and prime ministers and whatever the hell first ministers are? She's another Ivy League moron. And honestly, what do they pay her? $30 million a year or something like that? And to do one day a week because they don't want her going someplace else. What a commodity she must be. Maybe she does things we know nothing about. Nicole Wallace. Nicole Wallace used to pretend to be a Republican. Now she pretends to be a journalist at MSDNC. And, in the Fulton County Jail last year, I was sharing this with you yesterday, 15 people died in the jail last year. I shared with you the story of the man that his body was so covered with bites from bed bugs in the jail that he died of neglect. And that's what the coroner's office determined, died of neglect. And his family is, of course, suing the hell out of them. And they don't care about his death, and they don't care about the lawsuit, and they don't care about the money because they're not liberals, they're the left. Here's Nicole Wallace.
He's en route to Fulton County, Georgia, via Newark Airport, we believe. He will surrender himself for processing at an overcrowded jail with a reputation for violence and neglect. A jail that is accustomed to holding defendants facing charges up to and including violent crimes, where stabbings are frequent. And actually, 3 people have lost their lives over the last month. That jail is where the disgraced ex-president of these United States is heading right now.
He's the disgraced ex-president. Joe Biden is the disgraced current president. Wow. This is North Korea. These people are, and she laughed when she said the 3 dead, stabbed to death this month. And that's good for a laugh from Nicole Wallace because Donald Trump is going there.
Actually, 3 people have lost their lives over the last month. That jail.
The left is a bloodthirsty gang of jackals and ghouls. Hey, do you have smelly odors in your home you just can't get rid of? Well, now you can get rid of any stinky odor with the Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier. The Thunderstorm gets rid of strong odors from cooking and cigarette smoke and litter boxes and trash cans, and even liberal journalists are no match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm starts working in a matter of seconds to clear any room of any odor, and there are no expensive filters to have to mail away for and buy and replace. And, you can hold one in your hand. It's not a big old thing. They're this big. You plug them in, and there they are, humming along, getting rid of smells. They've sold more than 350,000 thunderstorms and have thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews on Al Gore's Amazing Internet. You can check them out for yourself. And this week, I've got a great deal for you. To get your own thunderstorms right now, you can save $200 American when you get 3 Eden Pure thunderstorms for whole home protection. Put one in your teenager's room. Bring one to work. Give one to your smelly friend. So that's 3 units for under $200. Just go to EdenPureDeals.com. Enter the discount code Chris. That's me. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris. And because you hang with me, you get free shipping. Yeah, it's it's like the old TV news thing. All she said was, it says never surrender. She left out election interference and DonaldTrump.com. He wrote those things too. It's like, the news media reporting on Moses coming down from the mountain with the 10 commandments. Here are the 3 most important. I'm going to have more on that on your calls ahead as well. I want to share other news with you as well. The Reuters news agency today has a story with the headline, U.S. says stolen COVID relief funds seized so far top $1.4 billion. That headline is extremely misleading by the Reuters news agency, but they're talking about a brand new case where they've nabbed 371 defendants, allegedly, stealing coronavirus federal relief money. Criminal charges involving 371 defendants. And they, with the $836 million, it turns out the money is going to international criminal cartels. A lot of the money was used for things like hire to kill. They're paying hitmen to murder people with the money that was stolen from us, the taxpayers. But buried in the story, if you go way down in the story, you'll find that over $200 billion from the U.S. government's COVID-19 relief programs potentially stolen, the federal watchdog said in late June. $200 billion from the COVID relief money stolen because they just was fired out of cannons, out of fire hoses, and stolen by the hundreds of billions.